As I say, 1910, that's pretty old. Okay, well, just a word before I get to my pedals. There's some older drums up here. This is probably my most valuable piece from 1937. This is a very unique piece. This happens to be made out of a solid piece of wood as opposed to plywood, which drums are made of today, typically plywood. Solid wood is always difficult to work with. Certainly, I'm sure it's easier today because of today's technologies, but back in the 30s, it was much more difficult to bend a flat board into a circle and keep it that way. So this drum has a brass shell. Ledian Stroop was this manufactured by. This was the late 20s, this drum. So you can see some older pieces here. This is a Gretsch drum and a Slingerland drum and some Ludwigs. These are my favorites, in fact. These have aluminum shells. They give a very warm sound to them. Very nice. These are my pedals. This pedal is patented 1924. 1924. There's, I think, 1919. This one here. Way back, that's what they used, and you could never play the speed at which today's music demands with that kind of a pedal. It just doesn't go that fast. But so you can see some older pedal. These are the oldest that I have. There's representations here of basically the three different types of pedals. Those that have the exterior spring, where you can see the springs. Here's a pedal here that has a compression spring, and the compression springs there's two springs in this pedal in these towers, and so that's a compression spring. It's adjustable from the bottom. And this pedal, called the Ghost pedal, has a coil spring, and there's two coil springs in here. And the ones that are used today, of course, are typically the ones where you can see the spring is on the outside of the housing. Curiously enough, this pedal, originally invented by Mr. Ludwig himself back in the late 40s, early 50s, is still being manufactured today with virtually no change. So from an engineering point of view, it's still a very good and solid piece. This is cellulose. The serious problem with that, it was so flammable.
Really?
And if you recall, drummers, I mean, you were supposed to smoke those days, right? I mean, you had to. So guys would put their cigarettes here and light themselves on fire. Most of these drums of this age, like back in the 40s, they had cigarette burns on them. Like, they all did. And it would burn through, like, instantly. So so these are the days before plastic. That's not plastic. This is an original head from the 40s, and that's calfskin, and I couldn't. My heart couldn't just take that off. I'd love to play these out, yeah. But that head is so sensitive to humidity. As I pointed out, the sound could change in the middle of a gig. So it really becomes unplayable.